Hello, and welcome back to the channel for another TV show review. I just decided to do this one randomly, so as of recording this on the 8th of January, I haven't actually fully sat down and planned out what I'm uploading for February. I have kind of an idea or two, but I'm not 100% sure. But at the start of this year, I just for whatever reason, I decided to rewatch season one of BBC Sherlock. I think it was mainly because I've been seeing clips of it on my TikTok For You page. Watching is like, oh, it's been a number of years since I've rewatched the first three seasons, and I haven't rewatched season four since it aired, which I know how bad the rap season four has, but because it's been a number of years, I don't remember much of what happened in season four, so I definitely do want to give it another go. And yeah, I remember this. There's only three episodes in the first season. Each of them are movie length, of like an hour and a half to an hour and 20 minutes. And for 2010, that was unheard of because back in 2010, streaming was still in its infancy, and so the usual length of for a television series was between 22 and 26 episodes, and so technically you could break it up into 20-minute segments for each of the episodes, and that would kind of make it be in around that length. But yeah, I really did enjoy actually my rewatch of it. And one thing that I have found when rewatching this is looking at a young Benedict Cumberbatch, 15 years ago. Is it took a second to get used to, because I'm so used to him looking like, from his Marvel roles of Doctor Strange. That's kind of in around what I'm used to. Not looking at him from like 15 years ago now. But he still absolutely kills this role, 15 years later. I definitely I do enjoy his interpretation of Sherlock. Is it the best that we've ever had, over the years? I don't think so. I definitely think there are better Sherlocks out there, but he is definitely high up on the list. And it's what introduced got a lot of fans into the idea of Sherlock Holmes in general. So if you hadn't have grown up with the other versions of Sherlock, the likes of Jeremy Brett is one that comes to mind, because he was my mother's favorite. Robert Downey Jr. He done two movies, and I don't know what's happening with the third one on that one, for that, especially now, with Robert Downey Jr. going to be Doctor Doom in the MCU. So I definitely think I think it won't happen. The third one won't happen. But when looking at Martin Freeman as Dr. Watson, he hasn't aged. Like I was saying, how much Benedict Cumberbatch has aged, but with Martin Freeman, no. I seen a clip of him, from the Marvel projects that he's a part of, and going back to this, he looks I mean, yeah, the hair has gone slightly more grayer, but he has not aged at all in the last 15 years. But yeah, this was really what catapulted both Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman into the limelight, because I remember as Sherlock was going on with season one, season two, I started watching it just as season three was coming out. I went back and watched season one, season two, and then of course I started with season three, season four. But yeah, it's what got them into these big roles, like Martin Freeman when he'd done the Hobbit trilogy, and then both of them being in the MCU as well. But the episodes themselves, we'll now talk about the episodes. 5 minutes into this review, the first episode, A Study in Pink, it still holds up. it definitely really, really does hold up. And, as this is the love child of Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss, or Gatiss, however you want to say his last name, they understand the source material of what makes Sherlock Sherlock, but also adding like their own twist. And we do kind of see that as well with Stephen Moffat for series 5 of Doctor Who. They're definitely similar styles that that Moffat kind of brought over for the Doctor from Sherlock. But yeah, Sodium Pink is, it's really, really intriguing. Trying to figure out who's the one that's causing all of these suicides, and just seeing Sherlock, in this being as arrogant as he is, and seeing Dr. Watson go finally learn that it's not the trauma of being in the ward that's causing him to have that limp. It's the fact that he misses the thrill of it, that I really enjoyed. And it's still, like I said, A Study in Pink is definitely, a great opener. It definitely, the pacing it keeps up with the pace. There's definitely no like parts where it drags. It keeps you on your toes until it's revealed that it's the cabbie that's doing it, that's behind it. And then the ending bit where it's revealed that the person who hired this cab driver to do all of this stuff was Moriarty. Just the way he screams that in pain, I always loved, and it's what sets the seeds for the series finale. And then of course as well leading into series 2. And knowing a lot of the stuff about Sherlock through my mother, because my mother's a massive Sherlock Holmes fan. I still have like a few of her Sherlock Holmes books downstairs, and like I know she, like I said, her favorite Sherlock is Jeremy Brett. And so I grew up watching bits and pieces of different Sherlock media. But for me, like in terms of like detective style shows, I would say I grew up more on the likes of Columbo, Diagnosis Murder, Monk, Murder She Wrote. Those types of shows, detective based shows, were ones that I grew up on. That I would say kind of would be inspired by the likes of Sherlock Holmes. And having it set in a modern era, it feels good. Now, it's not the first Sherlock show to set it in a modern setting. It's the second one, because the first one was the American show Elementary, which I didn't know that was a Sherlock show. And that was one that my mother watched. I didn't. I haven't given Elementary a shot. But yeah, then the next episode, the name is escaping me at the moment. Something Banker or something like that is probably the weakest one, and that's something that I do remember with the seasons with the 3 episodes. There is always going to be one that is, compared to the other 2, the weakest one, and episode 2 is one of that. Where they're trying to find out what what are these attacks, as well as the the Chinese numbering, figuring out what it's setting up, and it's it's still early days with John living with Sherlock, and it's just an all right episode. It's compared to the first episode and the last episode of season 1, it's not the greatest. Even when it comes to like season 2, season 2 has the Reichenbach Fall, the Hounds of the Baskerville, as well as the episode that introduces us to Sherlock's love interest, whose name is escaping me at the moment, because I haven't started season 2 to refresh my memory. It's definitely like the weakest. I'd say, not having rewatched series 4, episode 2 is the weakest of all of Sherlock. But then we get to episode 3, which, as of recording this, I rewatched last night and I forgot how enjoyable it was. Where basically Moriarty is putting Sherlock through the ringer, where he has to solve all of these different puzzles. Otherwise, there's going to be an explosion. He has all these people strapped up with bombs and that, and so he has to solve all these crimes. Starting with the very first one that got him interested in, solving crimes. Finally solving that mystery. Then solving the car part of it, as well as who killed this well loved celebrity, British talk show host type of way, and then as well figuring. I apologize for the cough there, but also figuring out how this painting is a fake, but also leaving a bunch of clues there for him to be able to figure it out. And then of course as well, showing himself without being too with going so far under the radar that isn't until we hear Moriarty's voice at the end of the episode. That's when it all clicks that he was doing that for Sherlock. And then just of the final minutes of the episode, where it looks like that Moriarty is going to kill both John and Sherlock, and then it just ends on a cliffhanger. I forgot how much I enjoyed that, and so I definitely would say episode, like if I'm just ranking season 1 as a whole, I would say episode 3 would be the best, then A Study in Pink, and then the second episode. But that's just my opinion. I'm glad that I am starting to rewatch Sherlock, because it is a good show. It is a phenomenal show. There's a reason why it is so popular, and it's why, in almost every interview that Benedict and Martin does, that inevitably it does get brought up of, will there be a season 5? But the problem with that is, now that they're big Hollywood stars, there just will not be a season 5. I could be completely wrong. We were lucky to even get a series 4, to be completely honest with you. We were absolutely fucking lucky after the 3rd season to get a 4th season. Even though, a lot of people do say season 4 is absolutely garbage. But I'm going to save my thoughts on that until I actually, rewatch, season 4 in general. But I do remember it being like a letdown, and I do remember, with series 4 coming out, that a lot of people were like that there's going to be this extra 4th episode that changes the game, that makes up for the past 3 episodes being as terrible as they were. But I am looking forward to it, like especially with season 2, the Rack and Block Fall. I definitely think that would be my favorite episode out of the 3 seasons. And then of course as well, when John marries Mary, the wedding episode as well. I absolutely love that episode. So I'm really looking forward to watching these. And actually as well, what's great about kind of with Sherlock is, with all 3 episodes of season 1, you can watch them in any order. Well, kind of. You do kind of have to watch episode 1, but after episode 1, between season 1, episode 1 to season 2, episode 3, you can watch them in any order. Kind of. Like, you can go into them without knowing prior knowledge, and it does catch you up. I probably just confused myself on that, thinking on that. But anyway, that is going to wrap this video up. I have no idea what I have planned. I'm actually going to, now that I'm finished filming this, I do have to edit out some things, and I will finally sit down and schedule out content for February. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought of Sherlock season 1 in the comments down below, and I'll catch you all on whatever I upload next. I literally have no idea.